The fragrance of fresh herbs at the Chelsea Flower Show can only mean one thing. It's going to herald the arrival of our Norfolk artist, Stewart Lees, renowned for his fantastic displays of culinary, herbs, and very, very wonderful paintings. Stewart, lovely to see you here today. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's fantastic to have you with you. Yeah. I've just grabbed something from you, from one of your pots. You can smell it, can't you?
It's
fantastic. Yeah, it's really lovely. And lavender, all those sorts of things. I mean, they're a passion of yours, aren't they, really?
Yeah.
And everything with them. The little pots, the string, the twine.
Absolutely, all the paraphernalia of gardening and cooking. I just have to bring it all together. I mean, here I'm bringing together my culinary elements.
Yeah.
Got a nice salad dressing actually going on there. I think we've got garlic and lemon and olive oil.
Once that's all crushed up together, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Cooking is a passion as well, isn't it?
It is, cooking, So really, the herbs, it brings it all together.
Yeah. So Stewart, this is your inspiration.
Yeah,
in painting terms, what was the sort of first thing that drew you into this?
Well, my basis really was drawing, and I love to be, rather than painting, it's always been drawing. And
in pencil and charcoal?
Pencil.
And this is from small boy?
Yeah, exactly. And when I went to college, I was always the one with the pencils rather than the paints.
So you never rushed off and painting,
But gradually I got into watercolour, which is sort of extension of drawing, really. And even now, when I'm painting, I'm still using the small brushes and doing painting and drawing, really.
Fantastic. So drawing.
Yeah.
Did you go to college? Were you trained, or has it all been self-taught from those early stages? Or?
No, I did go to college at Twickenham, and had a very good tutor called Stan Smith, he was like me, just loved drawing. He's always sketching away and drawing from the figure. And he really got me into drawing, got me into David Hockney at the time, was becoming very, very popular. But of course he's a very good draftsman as well.
And, so illustration and things, is that where your career then?
He earned a living as an artist and as an illustrator, and he sort of pushed me into illustration as well, because I was always making pictures rather than just doing abstracts, but I was always doing realistic painting, realistic drawing. So it sort of lent itself to illustration. Yeah.
And at which point in that journey did you suddenly think, actually, this could be something I could do for the rest of my life almost, or this could be my next career?
Well, I've always earned a living from drawing. I've never not drawn or painted. So it was, maybe I've veered into graphics now and again, and back to illustration, and but always with a pencil or a magic marker, but always making images.
And for a little while, you and your lovely wife ran a B&B, so there was a bit of a sideline, I suppose, or was that more the main line?
It was a transition from illustration to paint. I wanted to really paint, and but I still had a lot of illustration work, and to sort of fill that gap from going from one to the other, we did the bed and breakfast, and that worked. I could fit in, especially doing still life. I could set a still life up, and then when I was called away to do other stuff, which you do,
change the sheets, make the bacon butters, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, the bacon and eggs. But then I could get back to my still life in the afternoon, and nothing's changed. Nothing's moved. It's still there.
It's still all there. And you've been very lucky at home now to have built yourself a new studio.
I've got a lovely new studio, and.
You're not now in the bedroom anymore.
No, which is what I've nearly always had. A corner of the bedroom has been my studio, but now,
And that gives you the freedom, I suppose, to expand the collection of things you have around you. We talked briefly just about the Victorian clay pots, perhaps, or the collection of garden paraphernalia. I mean,
if you talk about my passions, that's another one, going around antique shops. I hate shopping in general, but an antique shop, I can just stay there forever.
And the painting just behind you just indicates that kind of level of interest that you have in all these sorts of things, isn't it, really?
Well, every object, I can just remember where I brought that in France, in Le Brocante in France, it's cutting vines.
How is it?
And even the string, I brought that in an antique shop in North Norfolk.
Period string?
Yeah, period string.
That's Chelsea levels of detail,
isn't it? String it was, and I thought, that's just right. It's all nice and furry.
And I love the scissors, the patination on the handles and things, where people have used them. And old tools, even metal tools, wear, don't they? They still fit somebody's hand. You can sort of feel the history in them.
Well, this one, it's got that lovely little leather strap. I can just imagine it hanging next to the door in an old French cottage.
And then you go out for your vines.
Vine grower, when he goes out to cut his vines, just takes it down and
goes out with it. And then even the clay pot in the middle, you've got the pattern and the moss and the algae and everything growing across that.
Yeah, well, I've got lots of those coming along in the garden at the moment. You know, when the weather comes along, they just sort of improve.
Yeah, they do. They age really well, don't they?
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
But I mean, that actually started here last year when I did a couple of days on the stand last year, that was the painting I started, and just finished it. Not that I worked on it for the whole year, but I work on other stuff. Finally, just come to be finished.
And I suppose the drawing, you start one thing, you're painting it, you start to think of an idea.
Yeah, as soon as I'm getting towards the end of a painting, I've got the pencil and pad next to me, and I'm sketching out the next composition. And, not that they would. I mean, this composition actually was supposed to be a big rocket, a lovely big rocket plant. But sometimes they change when I actually come to set the objects up. And I've lost the main subject of it, but I love the lemons, and I love this little bottle.
And the detail. I mean, we've got some small paintings here as well today. You've gone into that as well more recently, I suppose. And
that's nice to be able to just focus in on one
object.
Even if it's just one, like a piece of string or a knife or just
or
cherries or something.
You've got some great strawberries here as well, haven't you?
First time I painted strawberries, and that was really interesting to do.
You haven't got any red? Oh, you have got a bit of red.
If I'm doing strawberries, I have a few more reds on my palette.
That's fantastic. Well, I suppose you need all that detail, don't you, to capture them in different lights and things.
Absolutely.
So that's fabulous. So chat a little bit more to us about your sort of technique, really, and kind of how you go about painting in this sort of way. Because we touched on the thyme earlier. These leaves and things.
Thyme is the most difficult herb. It's the most rewarding herb, and then it's very effective when it's done, but it is the most difficult. Because of all these little leaves, and it was lovely to catch them in bloom as well.
Yeah, those small tiny flowers. I mean, they're so delicate, so tiny. It's and that's your draftsmanship, I suppose, really, in your eye.
That's where you have to be able to draw. Not only when you're doing the initial drawing with a pencil, but even when I'm painting these leaves in, I'm actually drawing and I'm outlining, putting in the little darks.
With the oil paint, so you carry on drawing.
With a very small brush. If I've got my little brush here, well, that's an example of, they go even smaller than that. So that's what I end up with. And I start off with a big brush, but I end up with a tiny little brush like that.
Fantastic. Well, you need that, don't you? If you're trying to get in the form and the curve and the curl of each of these leaves.
Absolutely, and all this little decoration on here, it's like etched, this glass. And,
because you've got to work on the crystal kind of reflection as well, in it.
And the different textures, you've got a lovely sort of dry, crisp texture there for the garlic skin, but then nice, smooth, round glass.
That's fantastic. So you've been doing this a long time. If somebody was coming to painting, so was sort of thinking, well, I quite enjoy this, what would your hints and tips be for somebody?
I think, it's a bit of a cliche, but draw what you see, not what you think you see. And people, it is a cliche. I know everyone says it, but no one remembers it. And
that's quite hard to do, isn't it? Because actually you've got to focus and watch and think and focus again, haven't you? Really, you've really got to be quite steady about that.
Yes, it is. It's concentration and just knowing that you think it's a lemon. Well, I know what a lemon looks like. It's yellow. It's that shade. So I'm just but really, you've got to look at that particular lemon. It's almost like painting a portrait. You've got to look at that object and paint,
and then translate that to there, which is
onto a flat surface, which is difficult.
It's really difficult.
Yeah.
So you've had a little bit of time at the Chelsea Flower Show. I know we've been working quite hard here. So you had a little trip around and had a little explore. Was there any particular highlights? Is there anything you think?
With my interest in herbs, I really love there's quite a few herb gardens here. And, we worked at the St John's Hospice. Which has got lots of medicinal herbs. Because you always think of the herbs as being for culinary. And
you've got your feverfew.
Well, that's interesting, because the feverfew is not a culinary herb, it's a herb that's used in medicine. And,
so purely for medicinal purposes?
I think it's for migraines. I think it can help migraines. Only a little bit, you mustn't have too much.
We won't have a headache today, will we?
But visually it's a lovely herb.
And then when it flowers, it goes through to the daisy sort of flower stage, doesn't it? So you've got those lovely white flowers on top as well, really.
The little yellow centres, just daisies,
Yeah, fantastic.
But a lovely colour. I think I've done about 3 paintings of feverfew.
You enjoy it? Yeah. Well, it's got a nice leaf shape as well and form.
And they're so delicate and so thin.
So well, thank you very much for chatting to us today. I know we're busy interrupting you while you're working away. And thanks for bringing some fresh scent to the flower show. Lovely to see you, Stuart. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.